It's up on YouTube.
Edition of the mock off season. We're ready to get some deals done. Eric's ready to report some deals. You see him there in the suit. He's ready to go. He's all official. Looking good in that suit, bro.
Thanks, man.
So we're gonna report some deals. We're gonna see how this plays out. Let me just readjust my screen here. It wasn't perfectly set up. There we go. We also got Clay's on. What's up, Clay's?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
So Clay's Patreon donor. If you want to donate to me on Patreon, links in the description, and you can appear on the channel. So anyway, Eric, why don't you explain how this is gonna work? Kind of just explain the methodology behind like the decisions being made on this show, and then maybe waiting for some free agents, and how exactly we're gonna do this.
All right, so obviously free agency opened Monday evening. Received a lot of emails. Some people are a lot more active than others, but I think a lot of free agents, there was a clear person who won free agency, so I will announce those today. There's several other that are kind of more questionable, or that will have to be done using the random number generator. So those will have to either be done on stream on Monday if we do that, but we could also just announce those over the weekend on Discord, which is how most of the signings will be announced after this stream. But yeah, all the obvious ones I'm going to announce today, and then people can start focusing elsewhere if you didn't get someone you were interested in.
Alrighty. So what if somebody, just random question, what if somebody sends an offer in the middle of the stream?
I have my email open, so I will be looking for last second offers before I get to certain players. I'll start with the no-brainers that won't change their mind, so there won't be any offers. But if I announce a signing and that person is off the market, there's no more offers for him, except for there's going to be probably at least 10 to 20 cases where someone will sign someone and they don't have the cap space or the exception to sign that person or the roster spots to sign them right now, and we'll have to possibly put players back on the market at some point. And then once I get people's sheets updated, I'll take all the names that have been signed off the free agent sheet so people stop offering for them. But yeah, I'm going to have some work to do getting with each person who's signing these free agents and trying to figure out how they're expecting to do so. But yeah.
Gotcha. Alrighty.
And then just a little side note. I let you know about this, but I went through a lot of the free agents and kind of formulated what I would expect for them heading into free agency, so that when I got emails for certain people, a majority of them were just take the best offer, most amount of years, most amount of guaranteed money, whatever. Hi, Mom. But a lot of them, wanted to stay in the same place or had a certain thing in mind in free agency. Maybe they were unhappy, so they wanted to leave wherever they were. But yeah, so I tried to do it so that if I got emails from people, I wouldn't use bias in who was applying for them or not. But through this process, I've hardly had to make any tough decisions so far. So yeah, there's a lot of clear-cut winners on these free agency targets. So yeah.
That's good. All right, so do you want to just start off with names? Do you want to slowly do this, say one, and we can talk about it, and then you can roll the next one? Or
how about I'll announce the signings, and then you and Clays can discuss? Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay. And no, my mom didn't tie my tie because unfortunately I haven't been able to actually physically see my mom for 2 months now because of this stuff. Sucks.
Mike shouldn't be in here flaming anybody. He's out here sending emails to the wrong email address. So that's funny. So are you going to use RNG for some of this? Because I know ones that were close, we decided to put odds on.
There might be a couple later, but for now, I'll just announce. I'll start off with the big ones that don't really need any
Okay.
explanation to.
Gotcha. Alrighty.
So,
are you gonna? Do you want me to post these in the Discord thread? When you name them off?
You can if you want.
And you have like all the information on it. So I wanted to. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. Anyway.
Everyone's so nervous.
This is like Christmas. All right, we're opening presents. What's our first present? What's the first present you got for us, bro?
All right, the first one is probably the most obvious one, and that's Anthony Davis is re-signing with the Los Angeles Lakers. They tried to get him to sign a 5-year max, but he opted instead to do a 2+1 contract. So it's a 3-year deal, but he can opt out after the second year. And he did that because after that year, he'll be in the league for 10 years, and he can sign an even higher max starting with the 2022-23 season. So, yeah, he re-signed with the Lakers on a 3-year max deal with an opt-out after 2.
Yeah, I think that's realistic. I think that's what he'd really go for in real life, man. Just because you don't know if LeBron's going to leave in a couple years. You know, LeBron's kind of been all over the place. LeBron's getting up there in age. I mean, that team doesn't have future assets to rebuild with, so I don't think Anthony Davis is actually going to be there the rest of his career. I think he's there for this LeBron window, and once that's gone, he's moving on. Who knows where he moves on to? Maybe he goes home to Chicago or something in a couple years. I don't know. But that's why I, think in real life, he'll sign a 2-1 like that. So I think it makes sense that he does that here. Probably won't necessarily, I don't know, we probably won't get to see the whole contract play out, but we're definitely evaluating based on the contracts that people give out, and the years that they give out. And with Anthony Davis, you kind of just got to give the man whatever he wants, but not a surprise there.
Yeah, and you kind of alluded to it, that LeBron's getting up there in age, so definitely see that coming into effect. What do you think, Clays?
So Tori's going to hate this, but I actually agree with Tori 100%.
Yeah. It's hard. He only likes it when him and I disagree, and then you take my side.
I wouldn't even know how that feels, though.
Same with the window with LeBron. I don't know what Anthony Davis's long-term plans is, but he's always going to get a max contract no matter where he goes at any point of his career. So it's even, he's been beat up a lot in his career and hasn't affected his contract status.
Honestly, I could maybe see him signing a 1-1, and then if the Lakers win the championship next year, maybe Anthony Davis decides to go to Miami or something, because Miami's going to be a player in free agency, and they have a lot of cap space
in real life.
Yeah, they have a lot of cap space next year in real life. Yeah, and he would be a perfect fit next to Adebayo. Him and Adebayo would be fun to watch in the front court if they were playing in the Eastern Conference. Wouldn't be fun to deal with in the West, but in the East, I hope he signs a 1-1 this offseason. Actually, I hope he just outright leaves, because that'd be funny as hell for them to give up
that would be
all
awesome,
that value for Anthony Davis just to have him leave. Alrighty, so
hey, Destrom, you said, can you reveal the estimate for offers before revealing them? What does that mean? Like how many offers they got, or?
Yeah, I think he means like the teams that were going after him. With Anthony Davis, it doesn't even matter who was going after him, though.
I'm guessing it's either the teams that are going after him, or maybe what the agent expected to be offered for that guy. Maybe
I was he's saying the amount of offers, which I'll allude to that. But Anthony Davis, surprisingly, no one jokingly even offered like him a minimum contract for the Blazers or anything like that. Like, we kind of joked about that in the Discord thread the other day after the owner or the GM of the Lakers made a joke, and I told him he'd lose Anthony Davis for making the joke, and then told Trevin to send him a minimum contract offer. But anyways, this next free agent is also signing a 5-year max deal. His current team came out right pretty much a few minutes after 7 o'clock and offered him the max contract. So this was a no-brainer. After he basically told that team that he loved that they gave him the max offer right away and was happy to see that, There were a couple other teams that offered not even close to a max contract. So he did get a couple of other teams with some love, but he had already pretty much made up his mind right away. And that's Brandon Ingram is going back to the Pelicans on a 5-year max.
I'm surprised.
So,
yeah, I'm surprised people were offering him less than max because he's definitely a max level player, 22 years old, putting up 20. How much he put up last year? 24, 25 points per game. Long, can defend. Like, that dude is definitely a max contract player.
Ben's asking what the max is. What do you think about Ingram and Zion now locked up for several years, Clays?
I mean, maybe I'm misunderstanding the caps, but I would say maybe it's a good thing other teams didn't offer him a max, because if New Orleans just had to match that offer being a restricted free agent, correct?
Yes, so they could offer him the most, yeah.
Yeah,
so
within
5 years.
They could have just offered him nothing. Everybody else offered him the max, and then they could have signed him for cheaper with one less year, right?
Yeah, because that's what it would have been. If a team offered him, it would have only been able to be 4 years, so they wouldn't have had that 5th year of control.
Well, that's what I'm saying with there's some other restricted free agents, and if teams offer him the mid-level exception and they accept it, they're going to be their current team will thank them for doing that and laugh all the way to the 4 years that they get him for under $10 million or whatever, you know. So yeah, I can definitely see how maybe teams just thought the restricted status that the Pelicans were going to match no matter what, so they didn't really bother coming with very strong offers. But that equals 5 years, $166.75 million.
Money.
So pretty sizable contract there.
Alrighty, what we got next?
All right, our next signing is the Rockets are signing Glenn Robinson III to a 2-year, $8 million deal. So he's going to make $4 million a year over the next 2 years. One other team offered him the minimum. So he didn't get much love in free agency, but thought that was a pretty strong. For the Rockets, that was their best offer to any free agents. He offered basically like 2-year, $2 million total deals to a bunch of players that can't even accept that offer because that's way below their
the minimum
offer. But Glenn Robinson has decided that that's a good situation for him since they cleared out a lot of their team and he's got a chance to contribute, and that's a good offense for him to be in.
Yeah, that is a good signing. $8 million over 2 years, so $4 million per year, Destrom, right? I assume that's what it is, Art?
Yeah.
So $4 million per year. That's a good price tag for Glenn Robinson. He can shoot. He fits into their offense, like you said. So not a flashy signing, but actually a pretty solid signing. That's a pretty solid move by AM. So congrats to AM on that one.
All right, this is getting old. I'm already agreed with Torrey twice now. So
you're learning here that you should, yeah.
Well, you've actually this is like one of the first times you're consistently making sense to me.
Wow, all right, bro. so usually I'm consistently not making sense then.
No, I'm just joking mostly, but there's a few times we have a different of opinion.
I think we're gonna agree on a lot. Free agency, I feel like is pretty. Actually, I know a couple guys that will probably disagree on, so we'll just have to keep on going see if we get to that point. Anyway.
Okay, AM Productions is saying, wait, talk to me. What does that mean, AM Productions? You offered him a 2-year, $8 million contract for $4 million a year. Is that?
He agrees. All right.
Where's the?
I don't know.
You got him.
I meant to.
All right,
I'm ready for the. I meant to offer. I meant to. Oh yeah, I forgot. All right. Anyway, next free agent. What do we got?
All right. The next one we're going to talk about is the Hammer, the best Call of Duty player in the league. I was kind of surprised he only received 2 offers, and one of them was not a very good one by someone that's on this stream right now, not you or me, Tori. But but the Hammer is taking his talents to Cleveland.
Cleveland, okay.
Yes. Cleveland signed him to a 2-year, $12 million deal, so $6 million a year.
It's not a bad price. It's not a bad price. Like he's a hard guy to figure out because his skill is so unique for being a 7-footer that some teams that really want that skill, I might be willing to pay $7 million, $8 million. So getting him for 6, I think that's pretty fair value. He's in Cleveland. I like his fit offensive. Post the link in the chat, then close the old stream out.
Are we back?
Unless we're back. You guys gotta let me know, cause
I think we're back.
Are we?
It looks like you're back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good old internet, man. You gotta love it. All right. Alrighty. So for the people that left after 1.5 minutes of lag, appreciate the loyalty. You'd leave me that quickly, that easily. That hurts. I'm just kidding. Yeah, the internet, guys, you know how it is. But as I was saying, assuming we're still good to go. Let me pull up on my phone so I can see if I start lagging. Let me pull it up just for confidence reasons. Oh, I'm not even subscribed on this channel.
It's looking good on my end.
All right, so Okongwu and Myers Leonard kind of reminds me of like an Adebayo Myers Leonard pairing. Obviously, Okongwu isn't anywhere near as close to Adebayo yet, but I feel like he has a lot of similarities with the way he plays. Maybe not the passing, but just in terms of the 6'9" power forward center type, can overpower you, decently athletic, like that type of guy. So I actually like that pairing if they're going to start Okongwu to put Myers Leonard next to him.
I agree.
Yeah. So the only other guy who offered in the contract was me, obviously, and
you lowballed.
Yeah, I couldn't offer him too much just because I have other needs, other than a backup center, a guy who can probably only play one position.
Yeah.
So I kind of need some other targets I got in free agency. So hopefully I can sign some of those guys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think Myers Leonard, if Embiid's not in the game, is a very good fit around Durant and other players on my current roster.
That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows if is it Ellie or L?
L.
Yeah, who knows how happy she'd be with living in Cleveland, going from Portland to Miami to Cleveland. You're just downgrading there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're from Illinois East, and then they're closer to close to the Ohio border.
He is.
True.
I don't think she is.
I don't know where she's from. All right. Anyway, we're getting
all right. So, just going down my list, there was a couple of two-way guys that signed. Freddie Gillespie signs with a two-way with the Grizzlies.
Okay.
So congrats to ads on that one. CJ Ellaby only got one offer from the Pacers, so he is headed there on a two-way. Then we have the next signing. This was kind of surprising. Jeff Teague is the next guy who signed a deal. And he is signing a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Detroit Pistons.
Okay. That's interesting. Did you want to add on something to that?
I was just going to say, he got a couple of other offers, but they were all for 1-year minimum contracts. And, it was quite obvious that $10 million versus, a couple million he was going to take the payday there.
I can't tell if Detroit's rebuilding or not, because they traded away Derrick Rose. They traded away Kennard. Kennard would have been good for a rebuild, but they traded away both those guys. You brought in LaMelo, and now you bring in a veteran backup point guard. Still got Blake Griffin on the roster. I don't really know what the direction is there, because I can't imagine that team being super good next season. I don't know. I don't hate the signing. Just because LaMelo and Teague can play together, they kind of needed another point guard, veteran presence in the locker room. At price tag, I think might be a little bit high, but not terribly high. I'm just kind of surprised. Surprised that he's leading with that.
Yeah, I was surprised at the offer too. I was actually more surprised that he didn't get more MLE type offers, just because a lot of those contending teams needed a guy like Teague. But yeah, it was pretty much a no-brainer when all I got was the minimum contract.
Yeah.
From another person on this stream too.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, I offered him the minimum contract as well. Once again, I have a couple other pressing needs, but I think he would have fit well in Brooklyn as well. With his, I'm trying to build a championship win now team. So I think his age, his skill, his stuff fits in well with what I'm trying to do.
I feel like that's somebody Portland could even go after this summer if they want a veteran backup ball handling point guard with enough size to maybe hang with some twos, because he is 6'3". He's not a good defender, but he's solid, maybe slightly below average, but he's not a horrible defender, and he can shoot, and he can really pass the ball, and just a good veteran point guard to have off the bench. I wouldn't say he's washed. He's not necessarily the same Jeff Teague he was a few years ago, but still solid. I would say he's one of the best backup point guards in the league at this point.
Yeah, he's washed as a starting point guard on a good team, but he's definitely a decent backup option for a contending team, which, like you said, doesn't really make a lot of sense for the Pistons. But sometimes teams just want some vet leaders, and I think I can't really reveal his plans, but I think he's trying to not go too far into the future with contracts and stuff. So, yeah.
Makes sense. Alrighty.
And that's also a tradable player at the deadline as well.
Oh, yeah. That's another part of that is we'll be able to trade some of these contracts away at the deadline. So, got a plan around that. Just like real life GMs would. That might be part of my strategy. I'm not going to give away any more. Eric, what do you got next?
Big surprise there. All right. So next up, we have Willie Cauley-Stein, who only received one offer, and he will gladly take it. It's from the Pelicans, and he signs for the full 3-year tax mid-level exception with them. Okay. So they re-signed Brandon Ingram and added Willie Cauley-Stein to their roster as well.
I do not understand that because they already have JaVale McGee, who's better and cheaper than Cauley-Stein, and they already have Steven Adams. So unless they're looking to move off one of those guys, but they specifically went after those guys via trade and got they gave up Jackson Hayes and the 13th pick for Steven Adams, so flipping him, I don't think they could get that type of value. So maybe they're looking to move JaVale McGee, but now you got a logjam at center because none of those three guys can really play together because none of them can shoot. So I do have some reservations about that. And honestly, I like Zion as a small ball 5-2. Now you're guaranteeing that he'll never be able to get a chance playing small ball 5 because you got logjam at the 5. So
I think they have a logjam inside the perimeter on that team, too. I don't see one person who can consistently hit shots other than maybe Brandon Ingram.
You got West. You got Joe Ingles, who's a 40% three-point shooter. Yeah. Lonzo Ball shot 38% last year, improved his form. So, actually, I don't think it's necessarily as bad as it looks shooting-wise. You do have Andre Iguodala there, who's a iffy shooter. But the thing is, with those perimeter guys, they can play multiple positions. That's the problem with this logjam at center is none of them can really play different positions.
Yeah.
All right. I think part of the thinking was that he probably should have waited till next summer, but both Adams and McGee, I think, have 1 year left on their deal, so he wanted to have one guy that was locked up kind of longer than that. Okay. Yeah. I do agree. I think he had bigger holes, especially point guard, and since he traded away Beverly for I forgot who he traded him for, but
Will Barton, and then traded Will Barton for Wes Matthews and I forget who else.
Joe says I thought the stream was 6:30.
What?
That's who we traded Beverly for. What I missed. Joe's, it was 6:30 Central Time, and you missed the Detroit Pistons signing Jeff Teague to a $10 million contract.
Signing guys in his sleep, basically.
All right, so do you want to bust out the RNG for a two-way guy that got a lot of interest?
But for a two-way guy, sure. Do you have like the numbers set up for him?
It's just going to be 25% for 4 different teams.
Okay. Yeah, you just have to know like what team is 1 through 25, what team is 26 through 50, what team is.
Okay. Got it.
So you want me to roll and I'll tell you the number?
Yep, and I'll just tell you who the teams are. So this is Omar Yurtseven, and he had two-way offers from the Pelicans, Jazz, and Nets, and Cavaliers.
Okay, that's the order I'll do it in. 1 through 25, 26 through.
Yep.
Say them again, real quick, and then I'll roll right after.
Pelicans, Jazz, Nets, and Cavaliers.
It is the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll be getting Omar Yurtseven onto a contract. Says the random number generator. So Yurtseven decides to go to Cleveland, but he's barely going to be in Cleveland. Most of the time he's going to be in Canton. Canton Charge? Is that their G League team? I don't know.
Something like that.
But honestly, like they're kind of thin on centers, so maybe he sees a pathway. He sees a pathway to possibly developing into a rotation player in Cleveland, just because Pelicans already have a logjam at center, Brooklyn already has Embiid, Cleveland's thin on that position. So
yeah, it's hard with the two-way guys because it's not necessarily. It doesn't really matter necessarily what their roster is like, if there's injuries or stuff like that, or if the team keeps them in the G League all year, even if they had a path to play time, might not matter anyway. But yeah.
I'll tell you that number generator hates me.
We've rolled once.
Yep.
No, you rolled 30 times for me to pick a team, or 29.
Oh yeah, and you were the last.
You're the last one, yeah.
I'm 0 for 30. I'm 0 for 30 now on the number generator so far.
It hasn't selected you once because you were just last by default. Who knows if it probably still would have found a way to somehow not pick you. We would have done 1 through 1. Would have said 0.
All right, one more two-way that's kind of an interesting name, not for any of us three, but for all these young kids out there, and that's LiAngelo Ball.
God, who's taking the biggest L of this entire mock offseason by signing LiAngelo Ball?
Okay, this was going to play out a lot differently. About half an hour before the stream started, he had an offer from a team for 1 year, $4 million on their actual 15-man roster.
Come on, guys.
Not even the minimum. It was $4 million. And that person retracted the offer right before I was about to announce.
Thank you. Applause for that person.
It wasn't because he didn't want him anymore. It was because he realized he was offering too many people, and yeah.
He worth $4 million, man.
Yeah. So only one other person offered him a two-way, so by default it'll go to that person, and that's the Pelicans.
Oh, and so no, man.
He will be
Lonzo, I guess.
He will be on a two-way with his brother in Cleveland. I was kind of surprised Detroit didn't offer him a two-way to
pair him with LaMelo. Okay, see that's the only two teams that I'll kind of give it a slight pass, but like I get Eric, are you frozen? He's frozen. He's frozen. Well, our commissioner is gone, or our reporter's gone. So let me just go on this rant about LiAngelo Ball. That's such that picture. I love it. LiAngelo Ball is not good, like not NBA caliber, man. He's not even G League caliber. He struggled in freaking Lithuania. Like, okay, there you go. Welcome back.
There I am.
Welcome back. You're blurry now. You got like this.
His background is blurry.
You're weird.
What the hell's going on?
It's like on blurry mode.
Is it your Is it your internet?
No, I think it's somehow got that. That's so weird.
It looks pretty cool.
Does anyone know how to do it to fix that? Unblur my background. There we go. Somehow I got on blurry mode.
I thought maybe your daughter pulled the router again.
Yeah, she's sabotaging the stream. So LiAngelo Ball is not even a G League level player. Like, if he was a 3-star recruit out of high school, went to UCLA, barely played. When he was out there on the court at UCLA, he looked like he didn't really fit. Like, he goes to low-level Lithuania ball. There are better players than him on the court in Lithuania that nobody's will ever hear of. You know what I mean? He was a 3-star recruit, and he hasn't shown to be anything more than a 3-star level recruit. Like, if he wasn't a Ball brother, nobody would have even come close to really hearing his name unless he went to like the same community college as you and was in your biology class or something. You know what I mean? Maybe he's a low-level D1 player at best, but like he's just, I don't know. I hate the arguments people talking about LiAngelo Ball being an NBA caliber player. It just drives me crazy because that dude is nothing like his brothers. He's nowhere close to his brothers. So if it's fun to sign him to the same team as his brother, and it was only a 2-way, so I can't give that much flack. The whole right. LiAngelo Ball needs his chance in the league. He just needs a chance. It's like if he wasn't a Ball brother, people wouldn't be saying anything. Like, I don't know, just drives me crazy.
Completely agree.
But now I finally have an NBA player that I have a chance to beat 1-on-1, so that's pretty cool.
That's going to be the new me being able to take Whiteside in the post.
Yeah. Oh, man.
The only thing I could see is I think what 2-way players are guaranteed $70,000 or something like that. He's going to make that team probably more than that just off of his name. So I think there's no harm in signing that guy.
Yeah. He says, I don't know about that one, Tori. I've beaten a D1 player that was about as highly rated of a recruit as LiAngelo Ball before. So, I don't know his name. Nobody knows his name. It was a while ago, but he was about the same rated recruit. So, I think I would have a chance. Small chance, but I think I'd have a chance, man. Just have to hit some shots and just have to not let him back me down from the NBA 3-point line. That's all I gotta do. Like, because you know that he tries to post up from like 30 feet as a 6'5" guard. It's weird. All right, I'm done with the LiAngelo slander. What's next?
All right, so the next name that's going to sign today is Justin Holiday. Now, he received 2 offers that I was going to have a very tough time determining between the 2 which one he should choose. Mm-hmm. But his team from last year came in and added an extra year and more money to the deal, and so that clinched it for them. And so Justin Holiday's headed back to the Pacers on a 3-year, $17 million contract.
Okay. Good price. Don't know if I'd give him 3 years personally. The only reason I say that is like he shot really well last year, but I feel like last year's production was a little bit of an outlier. I feel like he overperformed. Maybe it was just the right situation for him, though. It's kind of hard to see. I think it is a little risky giving him a 3rd guaranteed year just because he's for more than 50% of his career, he's been absolute trash in my opinion. He's he had a really, really solid year last year, so that's why I say he's worth $6 million in free agency. I just like give him that 3rd year. Is he going to kind of regress back to what he was, or is he like who he was last year? You know, that's the thing for me with him.
Yeah, if you're the Pacers, probably hoping on fit. That he fit that roster really well. It was a good. He's a decent defender, good vet. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. Probably a little too much, more than I would pay, but I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a little bit of overpay on the amount of years. I think he's 31 years old, and I mean, I know he shot like 43% on threes last year, but I think his career around 36. So he's not crazy, and I think his minutes per game went down the last couple of years. So he's already maybe he's just getting more efficient because he's not doing as much. Like, it's not on the court as much, so there's not enough out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible. I will say this, though. A guy shooting 42% that can defend, that's 6'6". I think $6 million per year is actually a little bit of a bargain for a guy if he really performs like how he did last season. But I don't trust him to stay at that level. So just, I mean, I wish, our simulation was entirely... You know what I mean? But it'll be kind of, I don't know. I guess we'll see how he performs in 2K. We'll see how he progresses. That's the best, It doesn't prove anybody's right or wrong for giving out contracts, but that's the best we got.
And I think one other year in his career, he shot over 40%. It was like 6 years ago or something. So he's done it before, I believe.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of like he and Gary Trent, I feel like, have some similarities. Hopefully Gary Trent can have a better career than him, though. Just as like their size, they're 3-and-D. So it would be interesting if like a guy like Gary Trent Jr. was a free agent this offseason after like the turkey went on for the Blazers, because I think he would get some really, really big offers. Anyway, that was just a random thought. Who we got next?
All right, real quick. Pistons signed Isaiah Joe to a 2-way.
Okay.
All right, next up, we have Davis Bertans.
Okay, how much money he getting?
He did not get a single offer other than the Wizards.
Uh-huh.
So he is going back to Washington on a 4-year, $60 million contract.
Okay.
So $15 million a year.
I mean, I think that's solid value for Bertans. Maybe wouldn't have given him a 4th year because isn't he like 29? I don't know, but his game should age well. He should be a good player in the league for that 4-year deal. So I think that's a solid deal. They didn't trade him at the trade deadline, so you didn't want to lose him for nothing. Kind of like how the situation.
He's only 27.
Okay, he's only 27. Yeah, 4 years is fine. You didn't want to lose him for nothing, so got to keep him in free agency. It's like the situation the Portland Trail Blazers are in with Hassan Whiteside. And they keep him on a good price tag. Some people will probably say that's overpaid, but honestly, you got a guy who's he's a 4 and he's a 42% 3-point shooter, and he's just a very smart player. His advanced stats are really, really good. He's not a great offender, but you get that amount of lethal shooting at the power forward position, and you look at what similar players get. You look at the contracts that Danilo Gallinari has gotten the past couple of years. Or that he's had the past couple of years at like 21 million. Bertans, I think, is the same level player, same type of player as a shooter. Doesn't score quite as much, doesn't shoot quite as much, but efficiency-wise and everything else, he has a lot of similarities with Gallinari, and he's only being paid $15 million per instead of $21 million. I think that's a good price tag.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair value. That was his first offer, too. I thought that was right in the range where Bertans would have been expecting to be paid after making $7 million the last couple of years and outperforming his contract. And like you said, similar to Whiteside, where you can't lose him for nothing if you're Washington after not trading him.
Mm-hmm. People are actually giving out good value money-wise and year-wise for free agents. These are some realistic contracts so far, I think. I'm actually kind of impressed.
Yeah, I think the value is right with Bertans, but I don't know if the team is right with Bertans with that contract, because I don't know if he's going to push them into playoff contention. So I think they're going to be one of those middling teams that is good enough to maybe make the playoffs, but maybe hurts themselves and never get a good lottery pick and never get out of the first round. Mm-hmm. With all those contracts they currently have until those young guys develop. And by the time those young guys develop, Bertans is in his 30s and just kind of more of maybe a guy doesn't fit the team anymore or needs to move on or whatever.
He'll be a trade chip, though. That's the thing. If they get to the point where he's not a fit with their timeline, and they can definitely move him with him making $15 million per. Some teams might have reservations about taking on 4 years of guaranteed money, but it's a good price for a good player. So, all right, I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes.
All right, I'll keep going.
All right.
So, Doge is asking if AD got announced. Yeah, he was the first one to be announced. He's going back to the Lakers. What's up, Ads? How you doing, man? You got Freddie Gillespie on a 2-way so far. We haven't really gotten to any of your other targets yet. And Clay's is responding to me about something. Hold on just a second.
It's funny having a conversation via chat while we're streaming.
All right. Christian Wood is not going to be announced today. He will be soon, though. All right. So our next signing is Aaron Baines, and he is going to Clay's for a 2-year tax mid-level exception. He only got one other offer, and that was for the Rockets, for the minimum. Kind of surprised, since he's the GOAT, that no one else offered him a contract. But yeah, Aaron Baines is headed to the Brooklyn Nets to be Embiid's backup.
Yeah, I liked Aaron was one of my top free agent targets, just based on A, my salary, and B, my needs. I need a guy who can play both the 4 and the 5, because I only have one center on my roster, and I don't have a true 4. I have a lot of small forwards who can play the 4, but I don't have any real power forward. So I can put Baines in there at the same time. I can put him at backup center, and I think he can get a lot of forward rotational minutes at the 4 and the 5. And his defense and shooting will help the court, I believe.
Yeah, I think
I'm kind of curious what Torrey thinks on this one.
That's a good fit for you. Let me just respond for 10 seconds to something in chat. It's going to make him based off how much money you had. No chance. Not even close. But Baines is a good fit for you. Baines and Embiid as your centers. That's entertainment at its finest, I think. But being able to space the floor, that's good to have next to ball-dominant players. It's kind of hard to find with a 5. But he can space the floor. He's developed into a shooter. So I like that fit. Good price tag, $5 million per. I think he is around.
It's 6, yeah, $6 million starting off.
And so that's a good offer. What sucks about it is the guy who was running Phoenix said he wanted to keep him, and then he kind of bowed out from his team. Got to figure that out still, but
no, there's a new guy on the Suns, and he chose not to offer any of his free agents. So, yeah.
Oh, I think I was like half asleep and read what you said about that. I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking maybe I dreamt it up or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, the cord keeps falling off. I need to quit touching the mic stand, man. It's just like right here, and it's just this big bar right here that's just like easy to touch. Anyway.
Yeah, Mini Tooth is the owner of the Suns. You didn't give Baines an offer, man, so...
Which I don't blame him. You already got 8 in there. Baines can't really play the 4. Aiden can't really play the 4, so... So anyway, that's a good signing.
Yep. And that, the fact that Brooklyn just used his MLE up means that Serge Ibaka is going back to the Raptors because only the Nets and Raptors offered him a contract, and he is signing a 3-year, $24 million deal with the Raptors because no one else showed any interest in him.
Way too cheap. Way too cheap for him, man. Surprised nobody else showed him interest. Was wondering if teams might. I don't know. There's not many teams with cap space though. $8 million per for Serge Ibaka is an absolute steal. He's like a $12 to $15 million player in my opinion. So getting him for $8 million, that's the biggest steal price tag wise of any player so far, I think. And maybe you could say Aaron Baines, but like Ibaka and Baines are the two biggest steals price tag wise.
Yeah, Ibaka was my number one target. Now I can talk about him. I thought he would play perfect with Brooklyn next to Embiid or backing up Embiid.
Yeah.
And that defense would be so ridiculous with Drew Holiday, Embiid, Serge, KD, and Josh Richardson on the floor at the same time.
Yeah.
That was really my goal, but I knew that Ibaka was a little bit out of my price range with the tax mid-level exception. So still happy to get Aaron Baines, but with his championship experience, but not quite there.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a scary lineup. I'm kind of glad that didn't happen.
It was probably pretty close.
All right, Eric, what we got next?
All right, so Ibaka's teammate, Marc Gasol, going back to the Raptors as well on the same deal.
Yeah, another steal.
Now, he only received 2 offers. He is 35, kind of declining a little bit. Still a solid defender and vet guy to have. But the 2 other offers were pretty crap. So yeah, another guy that didn't really have a lot of interest. And most of the teams that will have money to spend after don't really make a lot of sense. So he decided to go back to the Raptors since they won a title and all that stuff. So
yeah, that's another steal because he's same as Ibaka, $12 to $15 million range for like a year. I wouldn't give him $12 to $15 million for multiple years. So maybe that's the value where it comes in for Gasol is the fact that he has 3 years guaranteed of $8 million playing for a contender. But the price, just looking at the price tag, the salary, that's definitely a steal for Toronto.
I think $24 million of guaranteed money after the age of 35 isn't too bad because I don't know when you turn 35, but I mean, you're talking he's going to be 38, 39 years old and still collecting a paycheck in the NBA when he might not even be capable to play in the NBA at that point.
I will say this, his game is like perfectly suited to for him to be effective until like 40 years old.
Yeah, depending on injuries. Yeah.
So, anyway, good job, Toronto.
Right. So, Baines signing with the Nets kind of set off this chain reaction of teams that, or players that only had a couple of teams and that couldn't possibly offer the tax mid-level to both of them. So that led to Ibaka signing and then Gasol signing, even though I had initially skipped those guys. And now this leads to a third chain from that, and that is Derek Favors is signing a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Memphis Grizzlies.
I mean, that's another steal. But at the same time, why do they need Derek Favors? I'm surprised Favors would sign that early for a team that he's the 4th best big on. And
they gave him some promises.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is where it's going to come in. I've been saying this in chat. So, like, if you promise free agents certain minutes or positions or certain things and you don't fulfill those promises when you fill out your rotations and stuff like that, that's going to affect future free agencies. But yeah, he had some questions about their offer and why they would offer him, and Memphis came back at him with some strong answers as to why, and he liked that. So And he got no other offers other than one tax mid-level exception that has already been used by another team, so no one else even showed him any love. So
yeah. I mean, I'm just surprised you give him promises because you just traded for Al Horford. You just specifically targeted Al Horford in his bad contract, but I guess they wanted Al Horford. All right, fine. Traded Valanciunas for him, okay. But you got Horford, Brandon Clark, Jaren Jackson Jr. None of those guys can play the three, right? They're all bigs. All worthy of playing about 30 minutes per game. How do you have minutes for Derek Favors unless you trade one of those guys? If you trade Horford, good luck getting back good value for him because you literally gave up Valanciunas and Gorgui Dieng for Horford. And Horford's contract, people don't want that contract, so good luck trading him. Clark and Jaren Jackson Jr. are both guys they should keep as young, cheap guys that are a part of that young core. So I don't see how they're going to fulfill their promises to Derek Favors unless they do a follow-up move that isn't a good move, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That just puts them in a really tough spot. I'm surprised they would go after Derek Favors specifically. Like as a player with the price tag, I actually think he's worth more than $6 million a year. I think he's worth around 10. So price tag wise, it's a steal. I assume they'll be able to trade him mid-season, but if you're giving promises to a player and then you're not fulfilling those promises, that's not a good look for the franchise. So just not a good situation that he's putting himself in with Derek Favors.
Yeah, and as I keep saying, because I think I emailed Eric about 15 times, Favors was one of the guys I targeted as well, but I had him a little bit lower than Aaron Baines on my list, just because Aaron Baines can stretch the floor a little bit. And I think Favors, is a little bit better rebounder and bruiser on the inside. But in regards to Memphis getting him, I hate doing this, agreeing with Torrey, but I don't see why they would even pick him up and promise him those kind of minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you love agreeing with me. Don't even pretend like you hate it, man. Eric, I assume you agree with that.
Yeah, I was puzzled to get the offer. That's why he responded with a bunch of questions. But like I said, Memphis answered all those questions. Hopefully they stick to their end of the bargain on that one. And yeah.
And I think even adds, who's running the Grizzlies, I think even he can't disagree with me with my analysis of that, because that's just the roster situation. So it's I don't know. He must have a plan beyond that. Anyway, we'll see what he does with that. We'll see how that plays out. That's a storyline to follow. I like that we're creating some storylines here.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. It's got to be kind of cool to look back on these emails and be like, what you promised. I'm not saying he promised him a starting spot, but like lots of people were like, I need a starting shooting guard. You would be my guy, even though you're on a minimum contract. You can play 30 minutes a game type of thing. So if people don't say that kind of or stick to those kind of promises, it's going to affect their negotiations with free agents.
Yeah.
If there's close, they might get less odds to get someone in the future, or they might not get someone at all because they don't like the way they deal with people.
Yeah. All right, who we got next?
All right, next up we have Clay's Nets have signed Tyshawn Alexander to a two-way.
Okay. Solid two-way signing.
His Creighton boy.
Yeah.
Only person.
Yeah, I got to watch him his freshman year in Omaha when I lived there, and yeah, he's a solid combo guard that probably isn't good enough to play point guard and probably isn't tall enough to be a two guard, and needs to put on some weight. But he's a 40% 3-point shooter this year. He averaged 18 points in a big conference. Spreads the court well. Potential has some decent potential if his body fills out a little bit, and maybe if he develops a little bit more playmaking to play some point guard.
Yeah, there's a chance he gets drafted in the second round this year, so that's a solid two-way signing, I think. What next, Eric?
Next up, another two-way. Marcus Garrett is going to the Nuggets on a two-way.
Alrighty.
And then this was the guy. I'm gonna butcher his name. Philippe Petrusev, or is it just Philip?
Philip.
Is it?
Yeah.
Philip Petrusev. Yeah. Some people called him Flip, and he hates that, so you know who you are. But he actually was one of the more sought-after free agents out of anyone. That's probably who I got the most emails for, which is kind of surprising. But I guess Northwest ties. And I know you just emailed him, Mike. But unfortunately on this one, all the people who offered him a two-way are not enough because Torrey's San Antonio Spurs offered him a spot on their 15-man roster. So he is signing for a couple-year minimum with a possible third-year non-guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised he didn't get drafted, and I didn't take him at 59, but I needed a guard and figured, okay, he's going to go undrafted. I'm going to offer him a contract spot. He's a guy who's like a early second round level talent, maybe late first even. Tore it up last season at Gonzaga, leading one of the best teams in the nation. Just a skilled big man. No reason not to put him on a roster spot for a couple years for a rebuilding team, which, we're kind of rebuilding at the moment. So getting a young guy like that with that level of talent, he's worthy of a roster spot. So I figured, okay, people are going to be going after this guy with two-way offers. How am I going to beat those out? I got to give him a roster spot. But I'm completely fine with that because he's good.
And that was my mindset for any of the undrafted free agents was if there was a two-way contract, it's kind of hard to determine what's the best situation. So we're just going to use the random number generator. But if someone offered him an actual spot on the roster, it would take precedent over any two-way contract.
Yep.
And I think that's a perfect move for Torrey. That dude is a potential late lottery to late first round pick in next year's draft. It's from some of the boards I was seeing. And he was the WCC Player of the Year, if I remember right, as well.
Yeah. Which mock was that? I haven't seen him that high.
I've seen him I've seen him, I think, around 18-ish as the like right on the lottery border to like all the way from there to like in the 30s.
I mean, if
on 2 or 3, I don't know which ones. I can't remember. I just remember seeing his name. Yeah. I offered him a two-way, but unlike you, I'm trying to contend, so I'm not I can't really develop guys as easily as you.
Yeah.
Especially with Poku playing pretty much the same position.
Yeah, even for a contender, I think he's worthy of a roster spot. But if he could show flashes of shooting the three ball, he could definitely be a mid first round pick. So I'm happy with that. Signed someone. Finally got some action from me on this. So anyway, who we got next?
Next up, we have Paul Millsap. Now, this was an interesting one to me. He had a couple of contenders offering his service. He also had the Nuggets with his full bird rights. So I was interested to see how the Nuggets approached their free agency and how they offered some of these players that had pretty big cap holds. But he is going back to the Nuggets on a 3-year, $51 million deal. So it's $17 million a season. The third year is only partially guaranteed for $9 million, but the first 2 years he'll be making $34 million guaranteed.
Okay, $17 million per. I think that's the right price tag. The years, I would have probably tried to just get him on a 1-year deal, even if I had to pay a little bit more just to maintain that future flexibility. But maybe they have the roster right now that they think they can win a championship with, so they don't really, it's future flexibility isn't a big deal because they did trade for Bradley Beal. You do got Bradley Beal there now. Bradley Beal, Jokic, Jamal Murray, Paul Millsap. That's a scary lineup. So price tag wise, I think it's fine. Would have maybe, the $9 million guaranteed third year. I kind of hesitant giving him any guaranteed money for a third year. If you're going to pay him $17 million the first 2. But it's not a bad signing. They don't have Michael Porter Jr. anymore to play the 4, so it's not like they had to clear room for him. And Paul Millsap, I think, is underrated at this point in his career. He's improved his 3-point shot. His defense is still really good. So he's still a really, really good player. Still a perfect fit for that lineup, for that organization. So I think it was important that they kept him, and they did. So that's a good move.
Yeah, I don't like the annual salary on that move with him. I think more in the 10 to 12 range would have been more appropriate at this point of his career, especially him realizing he's on a contender.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to give Beal, Jokic, and Murray like $100 million between the three of those guys, and I don't know.
They've shown they've been able to round out their bench with cheap young guys. He's better than Ibaka. He's better than Gasol, and those guys are like $12 to $15 million range for me. So I disagree with that.
I would say Ibaka's 3 years younger than him too, though.
Kinda.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
But
Paul Millsap's still really, really good.
34 -ish?
Yeah, the years I'm kind of iffy on, but the $17 million for the first year I think is perfectly fine. Second year I still think it's fine. Third year guaranteed I'm kind of about, but it's only $9 million, so it's whatever.
This is going to be the crazy part about if there's actually an offseason ever for the NBA after this season.
In October.
There are not many teams with cap space, and there aren't many teams that will be able to do the full mid-level exception either very easily. So even if there were every team being able to offer the full mid-level exception of 9.75 or whatever it ends up being if they have to cut the cap a little bit, the teams that have bird rights to players like you guys just mentioned, Ibaka, Gasol, Millsap, those kind of players can offer, like Whiteside with Portland, they can offer them a fair value for their contract, but are they getting kind of ripped off with paying them equal value when all these other players, the most they could sign with another team is 9.75 million. So if you offer him 10 million, you have the best offer. He's been in Denver for a long time. So is his value what the market bears, or should you just pay him because that's what he deserves and that's what's right for your franchise to take care of your guys? So it's going to be interesting to see in real life how that plays out. It's definitely playing out in the game where these veterans aren't getting offers past the tax mid-level exception. So it's kind of hard for them to expect or want their value to be $15 million a year when that offer will never come. So, yeah, it's tough to know what's right to do in that situation if you're Denver on how much to give him.
Yeah.
Same with the Blazers. Like, do you offer Whiteside like $10 million and say like no other team can offer you more than that, really, and then hope he takes it, or do you like try to give him a little extra money just to make sure he signs? You know?
Yeah. Anyway, who we got on deck next?
All right, next up we have Fred VanVleet, and he only got one offer, and that's from the Raptors. He is going back there on a 3-year, $45 million contract.
$15 million per. When you look at what Terry Rozier got, I'm fine with that contract. I think VanVleet's a little overrated. Maybe wouldn't.
Yeah, you hate VanVleet.
I don't know. Like, I hate Rozier more though. They're kind of similar to me, but Rozier's out here getting like $18 million per. You get VanVleet for $15 million per. That's a fine contract in my opinion. For a player like that, I think he's more of like a $12 million player, $10 to $12 million player to be honest. But he's a big name at the same time. So I think in real life somebody's gonna come in and offer him like $20 million. So based off that logic, I can't criticize him getting $15 million. Toronto's just keeping their players, so good offseason. They saved on Gasol and Ibaka, so they could pay VanVleet a little bit more. Overall, for all three of those guys, I think they came out.
Well, they took on Westbrook, which is really weird still.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They did. Interesting. Yeah, it is interesting. So.
But Westbrook can guard, or he's not a great defender, but like he's big enough to guard too,
yeah,
so they
so
can
you
play
can play VanVleet next to him. Yeah, because they don't have Norman Powell anymore.
See, Van Vliet is another one that you can add probably to that mix because he's not a restricted free agent. He's only 26, so there might be teams like the Knicks or someone like that in real life that need a point guard that badly to where they take a chance on him. But overall, it's I don't know if there's going to be a huge market for him. So it's another one of those players that's hard to gauge how much to offer if you're Toronto without lowballing him or without giving him too much where you didn't have to.
Yeah.
What do you think, Clays?
I think the contract's about right for what he should be expecting. I'm not very high on him either. I don't like the undersized guys, and I mean, he's not a huge. I don't even know what to think at this point. I don't even. I can't even put a good analysis on this one. Toronto's re-signed. He got the money. That's the only place he would have got more than an MLE in my eyes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, he's an interesting case. He's one of the most intriguing free agents just because I have no idea what he's going to get offered. But I think it might be a little bit more than $15 million in real life, even though I don't agree with it. So it's kind of hard to put my spin on this too. I feel you on that one. So next up, who's on deck stepping up to the plate now?
Next up, we have the Cavaliers with another signing. They offered the 2-year biannual exception to Trey Burke, who decided to go there for 2 years, roughly $7.8 million or so.
Yeah. My only opinion on that is if you're gonna look for a third guard behind. Oh, they traded Sexton. Who's their shooting guard now? Tim Hardaway Jr. Okay, that's not as bad. Trey Burke's just he's not gonna get really any better than he is now, and he's just kind of mediocre. Like that's a fine signing. That's just nothing special about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the last couple of years he's played for the minimum. So when he got that offer, he was pretty excited. One other team offered him similar starting contract for 1 year, but didn't have that second year with $4 million guaranteed. So he decided to sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Alrighty, Trey Burke, Myers Leonard, making moves.
All right. Next up is Garrison Matthews. Only got one offer from the Wizards, and he's going back there on a 2-year minimum contract.
Damn, I was looking at him.
He was restricted, but yeah, he was on a 2A last year, but they signed him to the 15-man roster.
Yeah, I was looking at him. I like his. He's a good 3-point shooter. Showed some flashes of being able to really contribute at the NBA level last year. There were just flashes, but that was a guy I was looking at, but I wanted to wait to see how things played out first before extending an offer. So I'm kind of bummed that he decided to resign for a minimum contract, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I remember watching that Blazer game when they went to Washington, and he was in his little hot stretch of shooting at that time. He seems like a guy for the minimum contract. I think it's a good signing.
Yeah. So solid on him keeping.
I don't know who's going to play defense in Washington at this point, but
don't they got DeAndre Jordan? That's their defense right there.
DeAndre Jordan, Patrick Beverly.
Oh man. Yeah, that's a interesting team. Who we got next?
Give me just a second. Reading an email. All right, so the next person that was about to sign got an email a little bit ago saying that they wanted to wait to sign him, which isn't a good sign, but whatever, we'll just skip that for now. All right, so next up we have Danilo Gallinari. Now, Gallo only got one offer as well, and that was from his team, the Thunder. I thought they came out really strong with an offer for him. They gave him 3 years, $60 million.
Okay.
So he is going back to the Thunder on $20 million a year for the next 3 years. I thought that was a solid move for both sides.
I mean, that's
because he wasn't going to.
Go ahead. Sorry.
He wasn't going to make that in the open market with teams' cap situation. So
yeah,
I thought that was a good move for him.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the contract that he's been on for the past few years. So maybe wouldn't have given the third year if you're going to pay him $20 million. But it's par for the course with what he's been making, and he's been a pretty steady producer the past couple of years. So solid move.
Yep. Feel free to chime in. I don't mean to not have you participate, Clays.
No, I like listening to.
Would be, I don't know how many guys we have left. It would be nice to kind of get, maybe speed it up just a little.
All right. The next one is fairly interesting. This is Derek Jones Jr.
Okay.
Now, he received 2 decent-sized offers. One from his former team. The other which he accepted was from the Washington Wizards. Gave him the full mid-level exception for 4 years.
Okay. It's
just under $42 million for 4 years. So
could they even
starting off with
that? Yeah, they can, can't they? They just paid Bertans when they had his... Okay, yeah, they definitely could afford that. I mean, he's young, so with, Washington's age range, he makes sense. But that's an overpay, especially for 4 years. He's not worth, Is the contract rising, too?
It's the mid-level exception, the full amount.
Yeah, so you're looking at, 10 to 12 million per year throughout that contract. He's worth 5 right now. I mean, maybe he can develop into that. He can't shoot. If he could shoot, maybe he'd be worth that contract. Maybe, you're signing him to that, hoping he can develop his shot. But the dude can't shoot, and he's 6'6" and skinny as hell. Maybe 6'7". He's super athletic, so he can, sky for rebounds and be a pick and roll lob threat and stuff like that. But he's a small forward, maybe an undersized power forward. It's just kind of he's just kind of a weird player, and I don't think he's worth that much money.
Yeah, I think that's a huge overpay. Like you said, he can't shoot. It seems like Washington is either getting people who are one of the best shooters at their position or one of the worst. And it's I have Bertans and the other Matthews or whatever his name is. So now I can have all these terrible scores like DJ and Derek Jones Jr. and Patrick Beverly and all these other guys who can't shoot consistently, and John Wall even on top of that. I have zero understanding of the direction that they're going.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was going into rebuild mode when he traded Beal, and then, he's kind of gotten some veterans and, got Beverly, got Jordan. Made a good move re-signing Bertans, but now he has a young guy, so it's okay. I don't know. It's just a weird situation because they're not going to be a playoff team, but I'm not sure they're entirely rebuilding. Even if they were, I don't know. Even if they were rebuilding, though, the dude's young. The dude's 22 years old, so maybe you're hoping he can grow into that contract, and they're going to be over the cap, so that money isn't really going to affect them. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I don't like his. I don't think it's a bad signing just for that price and that amount of years. That's what I disagree with it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the Heat offered a pretty sizable contract too. Wasn't quite that level. But yeah, his only 2 offers were pretty decent offers. So, yeah.
Alrighty, next one. Wait, hold up. He's not a 2 guard, Ben. Derek Jones Jr. is not a 2 guard. He's
6'6", so you can play.
Just because he's 6'6" doesn't mean he's a guard.
I mean, he's quick enough to play.
He's as much of a shooting guard as Hassan Whiteside is a power forward. Let me just say that. He's quick enough to play, but he doesn't really handle the ball at all. I don't know. He's not terrible, but he's not a good ball handler at all for 2 guard, and he can't shoot. So playing him at 2.
Aren't you the guy who says you have guards and wings and forwards and bigs?
Yeah.
Not
He's a forward to me.
He's a combo forward.
He's a wing to me. He can't play power forward.
He's small like
120 pounds.
He can play power. I'd rather have him at power forward than shooting guard.
He's 6'6", like 120
pounds. I'd rather have him at power forward than shooting guard. Like
he's
can he rebound? Like
he's my height with a third of the weight.
Yeah, it's just like the dude just doesn't have the skill to be a two guard, and he's not a bad rebounder. He's not a great rebounder though. I don't know. He's like one of the few. He's one of the few guys that's really only a small forward to me. That's really only a small forward. Like
he's like a power forward skill set in a shooting guard body. So I guess you put him in between.
Yeah, he's just a super weird fit. I wouldn't play him at the 2 unless. Who's your starting 3 then, Ben? I'm curious. I'm curious who your starting small forward is, because like if it's like Troy Brown, that's not a good fit. Which Troy Brown is more of a 2 than Derrick Jones Jr. But Denny Avdija. Okay, Avdija.
I just have to say something. So Ben asked me in an email, or asked Derrick Jones, "Can you play shooting guard?" And he said, "Of course I could play shooting guard." What is he supposed to say to that? Like, now he's blaming me for lying to him and misleading him. Dude, that's not my job to like tell you.
Oh, this is
I
hilarious.
think you can play shooting guard, so I'm not lying. Derrick Jones Jr. would say, "Yes, I can play shooting guard." Like, he's not going to say no and like turn down your contract offer.
Whiteside would tell you he could play power forward because he's already done it.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Yes, and just because Torrey says he can't play shooting guard doesn't mean he's not okay playing shooting guard. He'll play shooting guard for you. It's fine. It might not be the best move, but he will play.
Or if
shooting
he's tanking,
guard.
Okay, honestly, if he's tanking, then that's a good move. And that's a good move to play him as starting shooting guard. Maybe play him as starting point guard. Play John Wall at center. Play DeAndre Jordan at small forward. And tank. Just kidding, I wouldn't allow you to do that with your rotations.
And start Patrick Beverly to lead the team.
Yeah, good old Pat Bev. Alrighty, what we got next?
This one was one of the more shocking ones to me. Pat Connaughton is going back to the Bucks on a 3-year, $25 million offer.
Whoa.
$25 million is a bit of an overpay, but it's only an overpay by like 3 to 4 mil, so it's not. I don't know. It's like 200% more than what I think he'd get, but I mean, you look at like Royce O'Neal's getting that amount of money. You're looking at like some other guys that are getting that amount of money. Like, it's not terrible. He kind of struggled this past season as like later on into the season, I felt like, but maybe it was early in the season. I forget. He had a strong stretch this past season, then he had a stretch where he really struggled. But he's a good fit with that lineup. Just gotta watch that tax there, because you could be shelling out like $20 million more dollars just to sign him to that contract if you include the tax payments. But it's not. I don't know. It's not enough money for me to say it's like bad.
I can't remember who all they have on their roster, but they have a lot of guards on that team now.
I thought they traded. I don't even know. We'll have to look at that afterwards. But anyway.
The thing about it that makes sense to me is he's a guy who the Bucks don't have a lot of options to replace him, either with minimum contracts or they can only use their mid-level exception once. So they're kind of stuck having to keep guys like Pat Connaughton. But yeah, they do have a lot of guards.
Would have been better if it was a 2-year contract instead of a 3-year contract, but that's fine. What next? Actually, let me just ask this. Is Montrezl Harrell signing
tonight? But yeah, Okay, wait, hold up. I don't know. I guess we didn't really discuss this, but do you think it's right to name guys that aren't signing today, or talk about rumors about offers they're getting to see if anything else happens with them, or what should we do? Okay.
Damn thing. You guys see it. It's on the screen. It's in the thing. Can you hear me, Eric?
Yeah.
Okay, then they can hear me. Alright, I think. They're just gonna be delayed saying we can't hear you. Can y'all hear me? Are we good? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really know what we should do with that.
All right. Portland mate, are you listening?
What happened?
Nothing. I've told him about a certain player he keeps offering him like half of what his market value is, and I've told him I've gotten offers twice as many as that, and he keeps on emailing me with the same offer with only a few $1,000s more. That doesn't even really like going from 5,000 to 5,300 is not gonna change whether he likes your offer or not. When I'm telling you that he's gotten way bigger offers.
Yeah.
And Ben C. Darling, if you're trying to sign minimum scrubs to trade at the deadline, that doesn't make sense either.
Yeah. Honestly, so like for big name free agents, I think maybe do the rumors for like big name free agents. For like small free agents, like it's whatever. But for big name free agents, like the top guys on the market, maybe.
Oh, there are 4 big ones. 2 of them restricted, 2 of them aren't.
Yeah.
2 of them, the 2 restricted ones are definitely not ready to make a decision yet.
Yeah.
I feel like it's 100% on the 2 not unrestricted ones. So I don't know if you want me to wait knowing that decision, or if you want me to just go ahead and announce them, or just have rumors about
100%. Man,
yeah.
No, I don't think.
If it's 100%, you should announce it, right?
I don't think it's 100%. I'm just gonna say that right now.
I know, and that's why I disagree. And yeah,
You got 2 even money offers. Both with different positive aspects to it.
It's not even money because they can his regular team can offer him more.
Okay. True.
But yeah.
But also, man wants to play more than 26 minutes a game, in my opinion. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But obviously, I'm biased, so.
I think I know who you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm curious how you'd play more than 26 minutes in the team that's probably interested in him as well.
All right, are we doing Torrey's free agent pitches on here? Are we talking about
moves would be made to clear way for just a 25, 10, and 4 guy if given the chance. So I mean, like, I figured that's what he'd want to be instead of like an 18 and 7 guy. But you know, if he really wants to extra little bit of money and to stay where he's at, you know, I get it. But you know.
From what it sounds like, I don't know if he want to play like 2 or 3 more minutes a game for a team that's not good right now team that's
he played
a championship caliber team who's offering him more money.
He played less than 28 minutes a game last year.
27.8 minutes.
Yep. Give him 36 minutes a game.
But his type of play style isn't necessarily conducive to playing 30
He's in great, phenomenal shape.
He's a sheer energy guy, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, he could give that energy for 36 minutes a game, or he could take a playoff like twice a game if he wants to, in order to get his like 25, 10, and 4. You know, that's just me. Like, you know, he's not give the man some shine, give him some All-Star appearances, maybe some All-NBA appearances. Like,
I don't think he would leave his current situation for anything like that, but that's just me.
I think he'd have I'm
telling you right now, if I'm making the decision, it's not going to be good for you. If you want me to wait for a little bit, I will, and then play this out and see what
we aren't even going to use a random number generator for anything. If like 2 even contract offers one which provides a better like situation in terms of minutes.
It's not a better. It's way worse. It's not even close.
All right. Well, we ain't gonna use.
I finally disagree with Tori on the stream. There we go.
Well, I'm partly biased, but also the dude is a backup. The dude is a backup right now. The dude is getting 27 minutes per game right now. The dude per 36 is getting like 24 and 11. The dude is an all-star level talent, and he's never going to be able to even be an all-star or just starter at this point with where he's at.
Aren't you the guy who says that somebody shouldn't play more than 34 minutes a game anyways?
36 minutes a game. 36 minutes
I think what his current team is doing is a perfect role for him.
Perfect role for him.
Kind of like what they're doing with their backup shooting guard.
Do you mean their 34-year-old?
Yeah, I'm just saying they're playing them in a perfect position to develop, to contend, to have 100% energy, not being risked as risk to getting injured, or to have less energy throughout the game.
That might be the perfect role for the team, but like for him personally, I think he might value a bigger role. That's just me. Honestly, like. Obviously, he's going to heavily favor return to his old team, but I don't think it's 100-0. I don't think it's 100-0. When you got...
I mean... the fact that the season was canceled and he's on a championship-level team, if he goes back, I think that weighs more heavily than getting a few more minutes and points per game on a up-and-coming younger team. Plus the Clippers gave him that... I mean, the Clippers did give him, mold him into the player he is today.
You might as well just announce him at this point, then.
Well, I mean, I don't want you to be mad. It's just
I mean, well, I'm not gonna be any more annoyed than I am right now. I just thought that was the whole point of the random number generator. I don't know. I mean, I didn't think that was 100-0, but whatever. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm not gonna announce it now.
I mean, you basically already have. You basically already have, man.
I am with Eric on this one, though. The amount of money right on his prime. Like, we finally hit the point in the stream where I can agree with Eric and not Tori. And this is it.
Triggered, bro.
Yeah, so the amount of money that he's going to get, and he's, 25-ish? So he's in the prime years of his life to get that contract. Yeah. And I mean, to get a lesser contract to go to a place to play 4 more minutes a game or something, I don't get
8 more minutes a game.
I'm not playing a guy 37 minutes though. I mean,
he's getting 20. He's getting less than 28 minutes a game. Playing him 36 minutes a game.
I think it's perfect fit for him.
You're like, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, just spit facts. You like try to like downplay the minutes improvement when I'm saying I'm giving him 36 minutes a game. He's playing 28. Like,
what's the guaranteed money difference?
Whatever
what's the contract difference?
What's the guaranteed money? Less than $1 million, maybe $1 million. And like we're talking about an offer that's like over $100 million. So negligible difference in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, I'm biased as hell in this situation. You know, who knows if I never offered him? Who knows what I'd say? But that's my opinion at the moment. So that's my case. That is the case I'm making, and I'm sticking with it.
For the record, I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. I had wrote down for this person that if the money was equal, he absolutely wants to win a chip with the Clippers. So I was not expecting you to make an offer for this guy, but yeah, it's a little over $5 million difference in the offers. But yeah.
So compared to, I mean, it's like 4% difference. Whatever. I mean, I don't care. I just didn't think it was 100-0. That's all I'm saying. It could be 90-10.
I just don't.
But that's my whole. I'm not even saying that he'd prefer whatever. I'm just, like, That's all I'm saying.
I think you're overstating the difference in role and, I don't know.
And not to mention, literally, the Clippers have nobody at power forward and center.
They have Zubac.
Unless you're calling Zubac.
And they got Marcus Morris on the market right now, who they could bring back, and Kawhi can slide over.
So they can't assume.
Like,
I'm just saying they have no 4 or 5. Currently, San Antonio has Hurdle, Allen.
Portal's a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Obi Toppin,
Laurie can play some 3.
Jared Allen.
For me.
I mean,
Jared Allen could be on the move.
Going to get 36 minutes a game?
Trust me, I would get him 36 minutes a game. I would, 1,000%.
Based off what the Clippers roster is looking like for the next year, I wouldn't doubt if the Clippers gave him 36 minutes a game.
They had Zubac in front of him.
But they also had some other bodies they put up there. They have nobody now.
They don't play Trez there, and they're only missing out like one power forward. I don't know. I mean, like I get your like main reasoning. Don't try to add on reasoning that don't apply. That doesn't apply.
I don't see any big that's in the path of Harrell playing 35 minutes this next year with them.
All right. Well, let's just move on from this because we've been talking about this too long. So. Because I 1,000% disagree with you. Because they've shown how much they're going to play him and what role they're going to play him. And I honestly think, he could be like a 4 or 5 assists per game guy. So I want to see him go to a new team in real life to see what he developed into. Because I've always been high. I was high on Montrezl Harrell before he even averaged 10 points a game. So
I mean, if you're high on him, you either have to move Allen, Laurie Marketing, or Obi Toppin.
Obi Toppin can play the 3.
Nah,
and not so. For a rebuilding team tanking, yeah.
Here's how I feel. This is why I think it's 100%. A guy like that he's got an important role on a championship team. I don't think is going to value getting a few more points or minutes per game when he has a chance to win a chip in his current situation and not in his other situation.
I don't know why he just didn't turn down my offer when I sent it. Damn. Anyway.
Well, you originally didn't have the full offer until earlier today, so.
Yeah, but I mean, if he already got a max and like wasn't gonna even consider anything else, I don't know. Anyway, I don't. It's whatever. Let's move on. Who we got next?
So, do you want me to announce it?
Do what you want. Do whatever the hell you want. I don't care. Like at this point, I have decided not to care.
Okay. So you're gonna be mad?
No, I literally have decided not to care, and I'm true to my word on that.
All right.
I've already vented. I've already ranted about how I don't agree with it. So now I don't care.
All right, DJ Augustine is going on a 1-year min to the Nets.
You pull out DJ Augustine.
Woo!
That's a horrible signing.
Tori's gonna be.
No, I'm not mad. That's just a horrible signing. I hate DJ Augustine.
I'll take a guy who shoots over 40% on threes the last couple of years.
What did he shoot last year?
42 or 43, I think.
Did he really? I swear he sucked.
And he's a career like 38 point something.
He shot 34.5%. Horrible fit. Can't shoot.
Can't shoot. No, I think Augustine's a great backup point guard for 10 to 15 minutes a game or whatever.
Yeah, I'm worried. Honestly, though, I am worried. No, that's a phenomenal signing. I am wary about giving a 5'11", 32-year-old who declined last year a contract, but
I mean, a min contract to back up a point guard, you know.
At the same time, I'm searching for reasons to criticize the move when I had DJ Augustine as one of the guys in my Blazers MLE targets video, so I'm not even going to keep talking at this point.
So if you're ready to give him the MLE.
Not necessarily, not the full MLE. Not the full MLE.
I gave him a minimum contract.
I know. It's a great freaking signing, all right? All right, who's next, man?
All right, next up, and yeah, he was the Nets were the only team that even spoke to DJ Augustine, so that's why he decided to sign on a somewhat contender.
If I knew that Montrezl Harrell didn't even want to consider my offer.
Tyson Chandler has signed a 1-year deal to return to the Rockets on a minimum contract.
Okay. I mean, all these guys.
So congrats, AM. You got Tyson Chandler back on a 1-year deal. Tori asked me to wait on that one. Marcus Morris is indeed heading back to the Clippers, the only team that reached out to him. He resigns for 3 years, $39 million, so $13 million a year for him.
Good price tag. He really showed out last season. So now the Clippers really don't. They got their 4 back. You got Paul George and Kawhi who can move over, so they're covered at that position right now.
They have Dinwiddie too.
Yeah, I mean they're covered at that position now. They got back Marcus Morris, who's a really good fit with those guys. Kinda switchable, nowhere near the defender that Kawhi and Paul George are, but he can do an adequate job guarding multiple positions, I feel like. Just not a great job guarding one position, if that makes sense. But that works with their switchable defenders. They have some switchability in that starting lineup, so that's a good signing. It's a good signing by them.
Yep, 100% agree.
Yeah.
I like the Morris fit in any contenders lineup that needs a forward.
Yeah.
So
now
I think it's
So now
good signing.
Yeah. So now I mean like their backup center is guaranteed to like not play more than 20 minutes a game.
They could just have a 3-man rotation.
But anyway.
All right. Next up, we have Rondé Hollis Jefferson, who was only reached out to by his current team, the Raptors, and he's going back there on a 2-year, $6 million total, so $3 million a year.
Meh.
He was a pretty solid defender for them last year, but
if he could shoot, he'd be so good.
Yeah.
Kind of depressing, man. Like, he'd be so good if he could shoot, because he can pass, he can handle the ball. Like, he just can't like really utilize that to its fullest extent because nobody guards him outside of 10 feet away from the rim. But I mean, for $3 million, that's fine.
Yep. And then J.R. Smith is back in the league.
Who in the world?
He was approached to being a mentor for a team.
J.R. Smith, a mentor?
Can't make this up.
The mentor is like
he was asked to be a mentor for some of the young players.
J.R. Smith, but
on the Washington Wizards. He's going to the.
So he's going. So if J.R. Smith is your mentor, then you're gonna have like half your team fail drug tests mid-season at this point. Like, experience, his vast NBA experience at the NFL. I don't know. Where are we even going with this? I don't even know where I'm going with this. But J.R. Smith, the mentor. Okay, Ben. That's interesting, Ben.
You're starting to cut out, Tori. You might want to quit playing with the mic.
And I don't know. Friggin' tape the legs of the mic to the ceiling. I don't know. Are you forgetting he played for New York? What? What does that have to do with anything? I don't get it. Anyway, what else we got?
I think he's talking to Russell, first round exit Westbrook, because he's the Knicks, and he was making fun of him. Anyways, Matthew Dellavedova is going on a minimum contract to the Pelicans. They don't really have much in terms of point guards other than Lonzo Ball, so he's going to be their backup point guard, I guess.
Okay, it's interesting. I have no idea who you just said.
Matthew Dellavedova.
Okay, Dellavedova. Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
We have John Henson going back to the Pistons on a 1-year deal for $4 million.
Decent figure. I just can't stand his game. He's too soft. But for $4 million, that's fine for a vet, center, backup, third string, whatever it is.
All right. And then we have The Denver Nuggets are re-signing Mason Plumlee on a 2-year, $12 million deal, so about what Favors got.
Okay, that's a bargain. He's worth double that.
Yep. So the last three, Dellavedova, Henson, and Plumlee, all only got one offer. The Nuggets are also re-signing Torrey Craig to a 4-year, $24 million deal. One other team. Did I lose you guys?
No,
we're listening.
Okay. One other team who will remain nameless offered Torrey Craig a contract, and he told Torrey Craig that he really likes his defense, but his offense is terrible. But he wants him to come sign with him. And then he offered him like $2 million a year. And
if you're trying to sign a free agent, don't tell them that their offense is horrible. Okay, that's like the counter.
Just stop after you're a good defender.
Just say, we love your defense. We'd love to have that as part of our team. There, boom, sales pitch. Don't say, we love your defense, but you're horrible at offense. You suck at offense. But we still want you, though. Like, would you ask out a girl, okay? If you ask out a girl, right, you say, I really like you. I want to spend more time with you. I want to see where this goes. Will you go on a date with me, right? You don't say, I really like you. I think you're kind of ugly, but I still like you, so you want to go out sometime? Like,
yeah. Tell her about all of your good things. Oh, you have an amazing personality, but your face is terrible.
but I'm not shallow, so let's go on a date. Oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I was kind of surprised. I thought he would get some interest there. But yeah, really nothing there. Noah Vonleh has a new home. The Utah Jazz were the only one who reached out to Noah Vonleh, gave him a 3-year, $10.6 million total offer. So he is headed to the Jazz.
Okay. Interesting fit there. They kind of needed a backup for.
Yep. And then the Mavericks are signing Miles Powell to a 2-year minimum contract. Undrafted rookie makes their squad. Jeremy Grant got no offers other than the Nuggets.
Oh, wow.
And
I'm surprised nobody offered him.
I thought this was a fairly good deal. He's signing for a 4-year, $56 million contract with the 4th year being a player option. So $14 million a year for Jeremy Grant. Yeah. It's pretty good.
About right.
Yeah, I think the years are a little long. I would have done that 2 years and maybe tried to work in a team option for like a 3rd year if you're going to pay him 13 mil, 14 mil. Since you're paying Millsap for 3 years already on top of that, it would have been nice to have like shorter contracts just from a trade chip purpose, if that makes sense.
Yeah, his tax situation is going to be rough in 3 years.
So yeah, he re-signed Torrey Craig, Mason Plumlee, Paul Millsap, and Jeremy Grant.
We're signing
and plus
everybody.
He has Beal's contract.
Yeah.
Murray's contract, Jokic contract. Oof. He's going to be paying some tax dollars.
It wasn't a bad route to go. I thought he was going to get away from re-signing some players that he had access to when he doesn't really have a lot of other options. But I thought it was a good move to bring most of those guys back. Maybe not all of them, but it's kind of hard to choose which ones.
I like bringing all the guys back just for the price is a little steep.
Is Destrom in here? Did he leave again?
Freaking Destrom.
If not, I'll wait
back and forth.
I like how he offered like 2 people contracts, and then he's like in here like, did I get someone? Did I get someone? Did I get someone? Like, well, I don't know. You don't not necessarily in on a ton of people, so. Yeah.
Well, if he misses out, he can go back and watch it later.
There are a bunch of guys that have comparable offers that are going to have to wait, and that's when we'll bust out the random number generator. All right, Trevin's in here. right? Trevin's still here. His computer died, but he's back.
Welcome back, Trev.
So the Portland Trailblazers are re-signing Hassan Whiteside.
How much he give?
And they are paying him 2 years, $30 million.
A little bit of an overpay for Whiteside, but I like the 2 years. It makes him easier to trade.
So, I think I kind of deserve an assist for that.
What happened?
Well, okay, if it's okay with Trevin, I'll just go through the emails. But he originally offered a 1 year, $17 million offer.
Yeah.
And Whiteside wanted to sign for 2 years at least.
Which is realistic, I think.
Yeah. He agreed or offered 2 years 30 instead of 1 year 17, so he came down a little bit. But yeah, I had a lot of fun pretending I was Hassan Whiteside. So he offered me the 1 year $17 million, and I asked him if I got to play power forward, and he said no, not as currently constructed. And then I put, do you not think I could play the 4? I'm a shooter. Watch out for the snipers. And then we negotiated like a 2 year deal. But yeah, Whiteside's going back to Portland.
Alrighty.
And then what's next? What do you think about Whiteside returning to Portland on that deal, Clays? Is Clays even around anymore?
Clays, bro. Where'd Clays go?
Yeah, I like it.
What the hell are you doing?
What were you
God.
I mean, Portland has no other moves other than to sign Whiteside, really, since they're capped out. So they get the depth in the front court.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's I know Torrey said it's overpay. I think it's about right for what he would probably expect out from other teams.
I definitely think he would expect that or more as a free agent, but I don't think
he would get it.
I don't think he'll get an offer more than the full mid-level exception.
The problem is the teams that need a Whiteside or all these other guys who are 30-plus years old, like a Serge Ibaka, Marcus Gasol, all these guys, they're well worth more than the full MLE. But the teams that are looking for those veteran leaderships that help them piece together, like a rebuilding team like San Antonio is not going to give, a Whiteside a multi-year deal for $20 million. What are they going to do? Develop him?
Is that a shot at all the people that say, "Oh, we should sign and trade Whiteside for $20 million to San Antonio so that we can trade for Aldridge"? Because there are people that suggest that,
and it just doesn't make sense for a rebuilding team to sign Whiteside at all.
Yeah,
unless it's for a super cheap rate.
Granted, the real Spurs aren't in rebuild mode yet, but it was funny that you pulled out Whiteside to San Antonio for $20 million because I see that suggestion way too much on Twitter.
Yeah. So I think you probably, with this market, you could probably offer him $12 million a year, and he's going to re-sign because he's not going to get more than the MLE, like Eric said.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have the Thunder with another signing, re-signing one of their own guys. They gave Andre Roberson a 2 year, $9 million total, so $4.5 million a year. I don't know. He hasn't played 2.5 years now.
Yeah, there's no way the Thunder are giving that guy a contract in real life.
Yeah, I don't know. They obviously have access to medical records we don't, but yeah, it's kind of shocking that he didn't play at all this season either after sitting out the whole year.
I don't know if he'll ever play another NBA game.
I'll have to see on that one. But yeah, he's going back to the Thunder. The Pacers are signing Brandon Knight to a 1 year minimum.
Okay.
Just get some depth there. The only team that offered him. The Jazz are bringing Dante Cunningham back on a 1-year minimum
Good old
offer.
Dante Cunningham.
Yeah. This is one of the more head-scratching signings of the whole thing. The Miami Heat are signing Ivan Rabb to a 3-year, $15 million contract.
15 mil? I don't
$5 million a year for Ivan Rabb, who didn't even play in the league last year.
$5 million.
He's a pretty solid G leaguer.
He almost got as much as like Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka, man. Like you gave him $5 million per, those guys are getting $8 million. More than half, though. That's crazy. That's crazy. Myers Leonard, they could have brought Myers Leonard back for a similar contract because that's about what Myers Leonard got, and instead they elect to go with Ivan Rabb. That's interesting.
Yeah, he renounced the cap hold on Myers, so it wasn't even really.
Yeah.
Yep. Next, we have one guy who I was really surprised that he only got one offer for. He decided to take that offer instead of wait because money's starting to dry up. And that's Harry Giles.
Not my money.
Harry Giles is going to the Jazz on a 2-year, $12.6 million total offer.
Okay.
So he only got a little more than
I really like that deal for Utah.
But they signed Vonleh and Dante Cunningham as well.
Yeah, which I don't like.
Damn, that's
Giles is I think he's, if Portland's looking for an MLE target, I still have.
That's tough for Portland because of his injury history. It's like, and the way our team's been lately, it's hard to take a shot on an injured guy. But yeah,
I like his potential. I mean, he was when they had him and Jason Tatum going to Duke together. Nobody was talking about Tatum. Everybody was talking about Harry Giles. That's how talented that guy is. And if he stays healthy, who knows what he could end up being. And he's still, 22 years old or something?
Yeah, I mean, that was a guy I was going to offer more than that. If I, struck out on the guys I'm offering a bunch of money to, that's what kind of sucks. Yeah, no, I like him. I'm surprised that the Kings let go of him in real life because that was a real-life decision the Kings made. I was really surprised by that. But the Kings are going to do Kings things, so...
They'll give Harrison Barnes $30 million a year.
Yeah, and then they'll renounce Harry Giles, or they'll not even pick up his option, but they'll pay freaking Corey Joseph $13 million a year, Dwayne Dedmon $13 million a year, like
give Dwayne Dedmon $40 million guaranteed or whatever.
Or they renounce his option so they can pay Harry Giles $13 million a year sooner.
Yeah. Let's see. The Rockets got their man Steven Enoch signed a 1-year minimum contract. He's an undrafted free agent.
Blockbuster.
I don't know how to. Yeah. But he needed some. He said, sign me an undrafted center. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to pick for you. The list is there. And he's like, well, who is an undrafted center? Is like,
the list is
go
there.
Look at
there's
the list.
Undrafted free agents. There's positions next to guys' names. There's rankings to see like how highly ranked they are.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so that was a little frustrating. So one I missed here because we started talking about something else. Goran Dragic only got minimum contract offers except for one team, and that team is the Golden State Warriors. Offered him the full tax mid-level exception for 2 years, so he is headed to Golden State.
That's insanely massive underpay. Maybe the most massive underpay in this entire thing. $5 million per. $6 million per. He's worth 12 to 15 mil. He averaged what? Let me look up his stats last year. I mean, that's a terrific get for Golden State. Good job, Golden State. Yeah.
That's a great fit for him.
He averaged 16 and 5 last year, playing 28 minutes a game per 36. It was over 20 points per game and over 6 assists per game. And he's a pretty efficient player. He had a true shooting percentage of 57% last year. Smart, heady veteran. He's worth way more than $5 million. So surprised he was getting minimum
$6 million.
$6 million. I keep thinking it's $5 million, but surprised people were going after him with minimum offers. Like, he averaged 16 and 5 last year. There's no way he's gonna sign a minimum offer.
Clay's,
you gave him a minimum offer. I mean, I can't blame you for trying, but
so I wanted to offer him the full tax MLE, of course.
Yeah.
But I had to prioritize my needs, and with injury history of my starting center and my front court lack of depth in general, it was him or initially Serge Ibaka, my number one target. Mm-hmm. It was either him, Serge, Baines, Favors was another one of my targets. So I made the decision to give the full MLE offers to the big men instead of the guards.
Yeah.
The Heat didn't even contact him in free agency, so he was a little.
Ivan Rabb similar money.
Yep, they'd rather have Ivan Rabb than Goran Dragic. So
strange.
But yeah, I mean,
God, I would have paid. See, like if I had the money, I would have paid. That's why I'm kind of wondering why some of these guys aren't waiting a little bit, because I would have fought, with striking out. Because I feel like some teams are going after like some really big name, like high paid free agents, and then if they strike out, they'll like pay some of these guys more, because I only got one point guard on the roster right now. So
yeah, but
it's also the Warriors, though.
At the same time, these kind of guys aren't getting much interest. So, like
guess I need to start.
If they would have gotten some emails saying, "Hey, we're going all in on this guy," but like if he doesn't, we'd love to maybe talk about giving you a big deal if this doesn't pan out or something. Like, but kind of
like what I did with Baines.
Yeah,
I did that with Baines and Favors and
I just
some other guys.
Gonna wait on more guys longer, so I guess that was my mistake.
There's still like hundreds of guys on free agents. So
true.
There's still a lot of big names. So just going to go through some rumors. Christian Wood has gotten a few big offers, and he is still mulling those over.
How many offers are said to be on the table? Rough estimate that he's considering.
At least 3, but no more than 5.
Interesting.
As of right now, I guess leaving it open might change that.
He's watch him get a max, man. Somebody's gonna go out and overpay.
Yeah, don't tamper here.
We're on stream.
No tampering on stream, but
we've been talking about free agents this entire time. What do you mean?
Don't use your influence over someone who has. That's why I was afraid to talk about rumor guys. But
I'm just saying a max would be an overpay. That's all I'm saying.
We missed. So Joe Harris is going back to the Nets. They gave him a 4-year, $47.3 million offer, which overall was, I think, about $7 or $8 million more than the next closest offer. Got several interests from some MLE teams, but obviously the Nets had his bird rights and could afford to pay him a little more than what other teams could.
Yeah, that's about as fair as an offer as I think we've had for anybody. 4 years, $47 million. That's solid.
Yeah, I mean it's less than $12 million a year. So I mean you're getting 8 million a year on average for one of the top probably 5 shooters in the league, and it was, I knew he would probably get a full MLE offer, which is almost 10 million anyways. So I knew I had to beat that probably to keep him there.
Yeah.
So that was my thinking and giving him slightly more than the full MLE.
Other than the two-way guys, that was probably one of the highest sought-after players. But, man, there was some bad offers. Like 1 year, $3 million by several teams, minimum by a couple teams. 2 years, $5 million per season. And then so like I would tell them you need to up your offer, and that was the one that offered like a few $100,000 more, like which I said not to do. But anyways, he decided to go back to the Nets. Like I said, Christian Wood will still be to be determined. Dwight Howard's received a couple of offers, but isn't ready to commit to a team yet. There's the two big restricted free agents, Malik Beasley and Bogdan Bogdanovic, who are not ready to accept offers yet, but are still willing to listen. Let's see who else. A lot of minimum contract guys that want to wait to find out more. We got Tristan Thompson had an offer from a contender that he was going to accept today, but we got a last hour offer from a non-contending team that's a lot more money, so that's going to be one of those where he probably would do a coin flip on. It's over twice as much to go to a non-contending team versus going to a contender. I don't know if you want to do that now or leave that open for a little bit.
That seems like a good RNG rule.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see anybody coming in with another offer for Tristan Thompson.
Maybe wait 10 minutes if you guys want to submit an offer for Tristan Thompson. Do it now. You want to say that? Wait like 5 minutes. We can wait 5 minutes. I don't know, 5-10 minutes. Or we can do it later. It's up to you. Eric?
Yeah, we can wait.
Okay.
I was checking the email. Sorry.
All right.
I have a last minute offer too that was waiting to make sure it was an official offer. And that's Chris Dunn has signed a offer sheet with the Atlanta Hawks for 2 years, $16 million.
Okay.
And so the Chicago Bulls will have a few days to decide whether or not they want to match that or not, because he's a restricted free agent.
It's a pretty good fit for Dunn, I think, if he ends up going there. Big enough to guard some two guards, good defender, so he could play next to Trae Young if he needs to, and help cover for Trae Young's poor defense. $8 million, a little bit of an overpay, but when it's an offer sheet, it's you kind of got to offer a little bit more.
So Portland Maid just gave an offer to a free agent who I haven't talked about yet, but he gave him a promise and decreased his offer. I don't think that's a good strategy, because he's not accepting these offers because they're all similar and pretty low. So that decreasing his offer to basically his minimum is not good. But that's the same problem I had with the Harris situations.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's see who else. We got Jay Crowder has received a couple of offers, but he is not ready to sign either of them yet. Carmelo Anthony was set to sign with someone, and he also got a last-minute offer for slightly more money. They're both similar situation teams, but one stands out for location, and so he's trying to decide whether to take the couple extra million or go to the city he'd want to play for. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that might be another good RNG one. DeMarcus Cousins has several similar offers that
he exists.
I know, like it's so hard to remember him.
Okay.
But yeah, he has several similar offers that aren't particularly intriguing for him. But yeah, he's going to wait to decide to see if some more money shows up. We have Maurice Harkless has gotten 3 offers, all fairly similar in price. He's going to wait to make his decision for a few more days. And then, yeah, that's about it for the like bigger name guys.
I sent you an email. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, that's going to have to be something I have to
wait on.
Yeah.
Was that the most recent one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And well, your other one from before, I'm going to have to wait on obviously too, because yeah. So yeah, still some big names out there, including those 2 big restricted free agents. And then I'll have all the names. It's going to take me a while, but I'll remove all the names from the list that have been signed today, and then you guys can have at it. Once I update your sheets, if you guys want to know a little more clear, I have my work cut out for me because I have to get with some of these teams and figure out how they're spending this money. And there might be some free agents that end up back on the market because they don't have roster spots or money to actually sign them because they have to make certain renouncing or give up rights to people in order to make some of these signings. So we'll have to see how those discussions go. But yeah, I don't know how long that'll take, but eventually we'll be able to tell each person how much more they have left in free agency now and what they can do and all that. And then you can go at it with the guys that are left. And then we'll have another round of these probably Monday, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll announce signings between now and then as well.
Makes sense. So that's all we got for today, signing wise.
For sure signs, except for I have not gotten any emails for Tristan Thompson in that time period. I don't know if it's been 10 minutes or not yet, but so yeah, if you want to discuss it between the 3 of us on air,
I say just maybe wait a little bit, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, just wait a little bit. Because there are teams that are striking out on free agents. I feel like that'll maybe be interested in him. So. Alrighty. So, looks like we're good to go for now. I assume we'll maybe announce some over the weekend. We'll just announce it on Discord.
Yep.
Alright, this sounds good to me. Alright, so thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Clays, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me as usual.
For sure, man. Got you for all the big events. Yeah, so we.
Wait. Sorry, I forgot about Destrom.
Oh, Destrom's guy.
Destrom. I was waiting for him to come back in. Sorry.
Got you.
Didn't mean to cut you off. So, Alex Len is the only person that was contacted by one team, and that was Destrom and the Celtics. He is headed there on a 3-year, $13.5 million, so $4.5 million a season. And he offered one other person who is among the people who are going to wait to see if there are other offers.
Okay.
But you got Alex Len.
Do you have like all these signings like typed up, written down, or?
I have it like a spreadsheet.
Gotcha.
Well, I just have like the offers laid out so I could compare them easily.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
I'll maybe mess around with like a signed free agent spreadsheet if you want. Okay. All right. So that's all we got for now. Just stay tuned over the weekend. hopefully you guys are having fun with this. Honestly, free agency next year is going to be even more entertaining just because you got a lot of big name players. So, and we'll get to that at some point.
And I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but a lot of people, due to this, the way the season ended and stuff, were more worried about getting guaranteed contracts and just having contracts versus waiting and potentially missing out and having to sign a minimum contract because there wasn't a lot of interest in signing guys to big contracts with the uncertain financial situation in the game. Obviously, we didn't do anything like reduce the salary cap and make it more realistic to where it wouldn't have been as fun that way. So, so we kept the salary cap the same as it would be if the virus didn't happen. But I think in real life, a lot of these players might just be like, oh, crap, I better take the guaranteed money while I can and not really wait around to see if there's better offers in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it makes sense. This is a weird free agency in real life. This summer or fall or whenever the hell it's going to be. So it makes it even harder to like realistically manage it through a mock offseason, but I think we're doing a good job. We're rounding out we're starting to round out the off season. It'll be fun to get into like the sim part of it, which I'm like working on.
Well, now it's gonna be crazy to see what some of these teams do that have more than 15 players on their roster and have to either make some moves or need to do something to clear it, or they might have to waive guaranteed contracts and have dead money on their books. Which is bad roster management. So we'll have to see how some of these teams deal with those situations.
Yeah.
And just so you know, I still have one open roster spot if anybody's looking to make a move.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really looking to dump salary the same way I was before. But maybe I can hit you up. Actually, you already had Claxton, so never mind. And you traded him for a goddamn first-round pick.
I threw in an early second as well. So
okay, I forgot about the early second. Here I am, like thinking he traded him for a first-round pick.
It was an unprotected Atlanta pick. So
that should be early.
It's not that much of an upgrade from.
Better draft. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
From like 35 to 27.
Yeah, 35 in a deeper draft too. So.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, anything else we need to sign off with, or are we good?
No, just Jazz have some dirty tactics with some of their players might affect them.
Tactics. What tactics are those?
Signing 6 power forwards,
offering contracts to 6 different power forwards, and now trying to backtrack on how he didn't actually offer them the official contract. And yeah, that's awesome.
All right, I'm submitting an offer, and then I'm gonna wrap up the stream.
We're gonna watch story type.
Yeah, but you get to hear my 70 words per minute typing right here, man. I think this would possibly surprise you, the offer I'm about to put in, but
I mean, I know your strategy, so why you're offering certain people. So.
What do you mean?
Like you don't necessarily go for best.
Oh, Eric gone. Bye, Eric.
Here you go. He's frozen.
See ya. That's the worst freeze frame for him too. That's the worst freeze. I'll minimize it for him. Actually, I'm gonna put it back up because that is my sim spreadsheet. I was working with some stats and some sim. So I'm gonna put that back up. Yeah, that's over.
I went away.
Back. Bro, song was so funny. Oh man, that's rough. Anyway, what were you saying? My strategy?
I was saying, like, you're not necessarily going for free agents you want to have on your roster long term, or just value to use in the game. But yeah, that's not a bad strategy. Just
yeah, I'm going after upside in a way, which is kind of what this. I mean, I'm just gonna send it.
okay.
I'm just gonna send it. I'm curious
So
how
nervous about
surprised
this
you're gonna be
offer.
about that, or if you're gonna see
Whoa!
the logic. Was that
Oh my goodness!
were you faking that, or was that real?
I
Is it
haven't got it yet. I don't
is
Yeah, I
it
thought that
insta
was fake. You ain't
sign?
that good of an actor.
know.
Is it sign worthy for the stream?
I mean, like I think he's gonna end up waiting the player, but I don't even know exactly money wise what it should be, but so I'm kind of just throwing a shot in the dark. But he was like one of my backup plans, and considering Mr. Harrell doesn't want to.
I'll announce that on stream.
Will you?
Yeah.
Do it.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
It's basically 2.5, 3 times whatever any other offer he's gotten. So it's pretty reasonable that he would sign that.
All right, let's do it.
So Torrey and the Spurs have just signed DeMarcus Cousins to a 2-year deal at about $19.5 million for 2 years. So $9.5 million the first year and $10 million the second year.
Team option second year.
Yep. And gave him a role of 30+ minutes a game and want to rehabilitate his career and get him back to an all NBA level.
All right. I'll have a follow-up trade coming tonight. I'm staying true to my word. He knows who he is. Alrighty. Make
You muted Torrey, I think.
But that's the thing. Like Skype can hear me, but you guys can't.
Yeah.
So that's why it's tough. So my thought is with DeMarcus Cousins though is if he can kind of get back, not necessarily all the way to who he was before, but kind of close to it, he's going to be a steal at that amount of money, and he's going to be a really valuable trade chip. I'm not committing any money to him next year, but I could keep him into next year. Anybody I trade him to could keep him into next year if he ends up performing, ends up kind of getting back to what he was. I mean, he struggled from the three-point line with Golden State after he came back from injury, but the 2 seasons prior to that, he was like 36%. There's no reason
why. Is he still muted, or are you guys just behind?
I don't know. There's no reason I should be. I mean, my mic's all the way plugged in. I just checked it. Yeah, my mic's moving on there. Yeah, no, I'm not muted. But yeah, so that's my thought process. Like, he can get that 3-point shooting back because his injury shouldn't hamper him from 3-point shooting wise. You know what I mean? He struggled from the 3-point line with Golden State, but if he's able to like put in a couple healthy seasons, I think he could get back to being a 20-point per game, 10, 11 rebound type guy. And at that amount of money, it's a steal. And if he doesn't, then I just decline the team option. And you know what I mean? Like, there's really not like a whole lot downside for the upside, you know, that he could provide if he ends up kind of bouncing back. So
right.
I don't know if that makes any sense to you.
No. I like the deal. You got cap space. You got to do something with it. You acquire a guy who has significant trade value if he performs, and if he's injured or underperforms, he's off the team at the end of the year, and you've lost nothing.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, kind of with the Montrezl Harrell thing, you're going to have to move another player.
To give him
the minutes he needs, and So I mean, because you now have 4 power forward centers.
Mm-hmm. I had a contingency set up, ready to go. I might wait on it, but now I'll definitely do it. If that person is watching, know that I am 100% going to do it. I just might want to wait and see for certain reasons. But it will get done. But yeah. Basically, it was just dependent on me getting a center. And I part of the reason I made this deal too is I didn't, he's been in good faith with kind of waiting on it, so I also wanted to make it happen for him. And yeah. Anyway, that's just wanted to make a splash. Just wanted to end the stream with a splash. So there you go. Popovich and DeMarcus Cousins might tear each other's heads off, but at least it will be entertainment. At least that'll put fans in the seats. I hope. Since
Ben C. Darlin hates the move for you.
He hates the move for me. He signed Derek Jones for more money, so for more years to play a bit shooting guard. So I think I'll be fine. I could. I might just play Cousins at point guard, like just to kind of match that move from Ben.
I mean, I would take Cousins' veteran leadership over Josh Smith or J.R. Smith any day.
Yeah, for real, man. For real. I mean, I don't see why you could hate. I don't see how you could hate that move for me because there's no downside.
Exactly.
If he ends up not playing, so what? I burnt $10 million in just free agency, even when I was gonna miss out on like my main guy anyway. Like, so what?
Yeah, that's why I like it for you. So
yeah,
I agree with you on this one, Tori.
Appreciate it.
The only thing I'll say to that is how it affects other guys you might be after.
Well, that's the contingency deal.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the contingency deal. If that makes sense. I might switch around like the way a contract is loaded though.
Russell, first round exit Westbrook says you can't tank as well though if he's good.
I just trade him at the trade deadline.
I know, it's fine.
Exactly. Or I make the playoffs, I still got DeMar DeRozan, so I don't know. Maybe I'll be the Grizzlies or something.
DeMar DeRozan at point guard.
DeMar DeRozan at point guard. That's part of the tank. Obi Toppin at small forward. No, Obi Toppin at no. Cousins at point guard. DeMar DeRozan at the 2 guard. Obi Toppin at the 3. We'll just go big, like. We'll just go big as hell. Laurie Marketing at the 4. Yeah.
Jared Allen.
Jared Allen, good old Jared Allen. Who rumors say might be on the move. Anyway.
You wouldn't trade your prized possession, Jared Allen, would you?
Oh man, you've made so many compelling arguments for Jared Allen and Mo Wagner.
Wagner.
Just
I hate when people say Wagner.
I said Wagner because I can say it in Germany.
Yeah.
But
that's like.
But you've defended these guys just to hype up their value to trade them to somebody else.
I mean, I wasn't planning on trading Jared Allen, but then when I was looking at some of the targets and like the weighing that versus what I could get for Jared Allen, it makes sense. So.
I like that tactic.
I just have to say something. So you can't just sign someone and then trade them right now. So like Ben put J.R. Smith on the trade block in Discord. That's not how it works.
Yeah, anybody you signed can't be traded until like December. Until like the middle of the season.
December 15th in real life. So it'll be that point of the season when we're simulating that you can trade them. So yeah,
it's about 30 games.
I should have specified that, but.
Well, I mean, yeah.
We should have specified that. I should have specified that, but. Yeah, no. So. Actually, isn't that in the rule sheet?
I'm pretty sure it was in the rule sheet.
Yeah. Well, if you don't remember, then don't feel bad about not remembering.
But I know there were people talking about making trades where, oh, well, just sign someone to this amount and then we can match salary tomorrow or something. Like that doesn't work, guys.
Reports state that J.R. Smith is beefing with his new front office on the day he signed with the Washington Wizards, as they reportedly put him on the trade block when they can't even trade him. He thinks they're yanking his chain, and he's going to go smoke some weed. So
actually, he's like, screw it. Someone actually paid me. I don't care what team I'm on. He has no beef. He's like, man, I'm collecting another paycheck. I thought I never would.
Yeah. Yep. Alrighty, so I'm just kind of.
But yeah, still send an offer to free agency. It's not done. Like, we're still gonna go until all the rosters are filled and everyone's got ready to do like summer league and preseason and all that stuff.
Yeah. And
then there'll be a point right before preseason starts where contracts are combinable again. Not quite yet. And then there's a few players like Dame and Royce O'Neal, and I think there's one or two others that couldn't be traded till August or something. So those guys might become tradable at some point as well.
Yep. I'm just kind of reading back through the reaction because I didn't see the chat reaction to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanna go for a draft. I want to get a little bit of vitamin C, and yeah. So I'm gonna wrap up this stream. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to everybody who's participating in this. Everybody being so active has helped make this work really, really well, in my opinion. So it's been a lot of fun in a time where we've been bored as hell with this damn quarantine. So.
Oh, everyone go bug People's Mix about contributing. He was like the biggest contributor, and now he's not anywhere to be found. Won't even come on Discord.
Not even for 5 minutes, man. Set up his Discord, advertised it behind the scenes. Try to steal the clout from my Discord.
I'm just trying to figure out how you're getting vitamin C in the sun.
Is it vitamin D? I don't remember.
It's vitamin D, yeah. I was like, are you drinking orange juice?
The only reason I thought vitamin C is because I keep like reading stuff about it related to the virus. But like,
gotcha.
It just got stuck in my head. Vitamin D. Yeah, I felt like vitamin C wasn't right when I said it, but I just like was hoping nobody would either think about it or it was right.
I was thinking in my head, I'm like, maybe I'm wrong.
Go get some vitamin D.
Hey, Clays.
Yeah.
Be honest, did you look it up real quick?
No, but that
was delayed. He looked it up. He's like, let me make sure I'm right before I call him out.
I did think about it. I'm like, no, I swear it's vitamin D. I went for it.
They're so vitamin C, vitamin D. Vitamin C's from orange juice.
That's from it's still light out a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be light out for another hour or so. Gonna go on a drive.
Yeah, it's gonna get bright here in about 2 hours. So.
Yeah, it's middle of the night for you. Alrighty, well, that means we should wrap things up. Thank you to everybody for tuning in for this. This was a lot of fun. I'll catch you guys on Monday with another stream. Got a video or two dropping this week that I've already recorded. Or not this weekend. Not this week. This weekend. I literally can't speak words when I start an outro. It's just like my thing at this point. This weekend, got a couple videos dropping. 10 MLE targets. Would like to get out a stream highlights video because I've been working on that. And I have a lot of footage backed up. I just, I want those videos to be like 10 to 15 minutes. So, been working on it. So, stay tuned. I don't know about the stream highlights, but the MLE targets for sure. That'll be over on the main channel. So, thank you to everybody for watching. I'll catch you guys later. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.